and scared. And he said, don't worry, because there could be no other better way to die than to lay down my life for one of my friends and my officers. And I know in his heart he meant that, but I'm left behind. So it's not easy to say, that's okay, I understand, because I didn't always. But it throws up challenges, it has rewards. And I have to say, I really wouldn't have had it any other way. I think it is we who are in the police force, not just him, as I mentioned before. I wear his badge with honor too. I have had to learn that responsibility. I learned how to be resilient. And a lot of you don't know me, but this has been really hard for me when he's put others' needs ahead of mine. There's been times, I can think of one that, for all of you that know Plymouth, we have the big festival. Okay, that's a week, right? That's a week. He's not home, he's up there. So I went out and I learned how to volunteer. I became a volunteer for the police officer. I got on council. I learned how to carry a gun. And I learned that I was going to be part of his world because I needed to understand what he loves so much. So I had to become resilient. I also had to be adaptable, and that's been really hard. There were times that we had things planned and he got a call. Things were interrupted. Christmas, I think probably 7 years he worked New Year's Eve, and I said, I'm working too. So I'd go up and I'd sit at the station. That's what I had to do. That's what I did, and it can be really tough. And I have to say that it's not been without tears. I know all of you have cried when you've had to give up things because you wanted your husband there. I've also had to shelve the resentment. And there is times you're resentful. Being in a small town in Plymouth, people come to our house at 10 o'clock at night and say, Chief Doan, you're a notary. Can you help me? It's like, I had one guy come to my house 3 times and I said, he's not here, he's at work. And I said, please, and he said, but we're all family here. And yes, and that's how they felt. They came to our house and they were welcome, and he never turned anybody away. Being a police officer has not been a job for my husband. It has been his lifestyle, and that's what he wanted. And I could either become part of that lifestyle or it wasn't going to work for us. We got involved in the church. We've got involved with those that are on drugs. We've also tried to go out and eat. And I can't tell you how many times people have come over and pulled up a chair and said, I got a problem, can you help me? So there goes the date night. So it's been sometimes impossible. And he never turns anyone away. He never did. He was always gracious. I also had to learn how to keep my mouth shut. I'm pretty vocal. I'm a pretty strong woman. I'm a nurse, and I am pretty opinionated. And there was times that I wanted to really stand up and say something, because I don't think that you guys should be treated sometimes the way you're treated. And I had to watch what I put on social media, what I said in public, and polarizing my opinions so that I could just keep them as my own. He's had to remind me a couple times. And I asked him before he talked if there was anything I wasn't allowed to say. But for me, as his wife, I've had to take on a lot of responsibility. We've mentioned the job is dangerous, and we try not to worry. I can't count how many times I sat by this scanner and I prayed, not just for him, but for every one of you. When I knew something was going on, that you would be safe. When you're in a high-speed chase, that you'll be able to save the victims. And he also was on the marshals, so that was a big responsibility.